The Adventures of Pico and Columbus, known internationally as The Magic Voyage, is an animated adventure/comedy made in Germany in 1992. It loosely follows, emphasis on loosely, the first voyage of Christopher Columbus and his quest to find a quicker route to India via the Atlantic Ocean. His adventure would not be easy, though, as he would have to deal with many obstacles, such as hurricanes, scary monsters, and swarms of evil locusts, all as he travels to find the new world alongside his shipmate Pico the Woodworm. Doesn't make any sense? Well, no shit, Sherlock. This movie is about as historically accurate as Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor. Add that with bad animation, horrendous voice acting, and lame plot, and you've got one of the worst animated movies ever made in existence. How bad is it? Let's find out, shall we? The movie starts off literally at a lightning pace, panning over several paintings of ships on the high seas, including one featuring the Iron Cross? Well, being that the film was made in Germany, it is common for its relative filmmakers to add some kind of symbolism to their films. Even if that symbolism is about 400 years out of place, but I digress. We then get a small segment with Mickey Rooney narrating.
A long time ago, people thought the world was flat, and if you sailed uncharted waters, you just might fall over the edge into space. This may sound strange to us now, but in those days, no one knew what lay over the far horizon. What with pirates and hurricanes and sea monsters to contend with, it was a very dangerous time. But in 1492, there appeared an Italian navigator, a man with a revolutionary idea. He thought that the world was square, and his name was Christopher Columbus.
No he didn't, Mickey Rooney. Christopher Columbus always thought the world was round, even initially. And even if he did think the world was square, it would still be considered flat. We then cut to Spain's Palos de la Frontera, where we see a couple of seagulls messing around with a rubber fish when we meet...
Whew, that was fun.
Oh, Smeg. It's a woodworm voiced by Corey Feldman.
I used to be a bookworm. I sat up on the shelf.
That sings badly.
Whoa! Pico the Adventurer.
Hooray! He's dead! The movie's over!
That's a life for me.
What the feck? Did he just drill right through that seagull's beak? Well, apparently the Germans also like to condone animal abuse in kids' films. So the woodworm, whose name is Pico, is able to escape from the seagull by digging his way into a ship. And it's here that we're introduced to Christopher Columbus, voiced by Dom DeLuise.
My map is sure stinker. How come a genius like me is so stupid?
Oh, Dom DeLuise. God rest his soul. But this is like the 5th movie I've reviewed featuring him. And this is his worst performance yet!
All the time people say to me, face it, Chris, it's 1492 and the world is still flat.
You know, most of the time it almost sounds like Dom doesn't even want to be in this movie. His Italian accent is just awful. And trust me, I've heard him do accents before.
I'm the best cook in the world because it's true. Ladies and gentlemen, a prune. Please breathe on the prune. Dude, prune.
So Columbus is still trying to figure out his hypothesis of the world being square. And by the way, that's a cube, not a square, Zuckerberg. When a hungry Pico appears and eats off the edges of the globe.
You look what you do to my... Maybe the world is she's around?
That's right, kids. Everything your history teacher taught you was a lie. Christopher Columbus was this guy who originally thought the world was square, until a kind little woodworm came along and chewed up his globe, giving him the impression that the world was actually round. And then he'd go on to direct Home Alone and Harry Potter. Hardcore! So Columbus and Pico agree to become a duo, and together they make their way to the king's castle. And what do they do to pass the time? Sing another horrible song!
Yesterday my life was dreary. Now suddenly I'm bright and cheery. And all because I met a fella like you.
All this time I kept ignoring that my life was so dull and boring.
Ugh. I'm sorry, but did Corey Feldman honestly think he could sing? They couldn't get an actual singer to replace him instead, like Zac Efron in High School Musical? I mean, really, this guy destroys more vocal cords than Cars and License to Drive. But that's the least of this film's problems. The dubbing in this movie is so bad that it makes a 4Kids dub look hardcore. About 80% of the time, you can just hear the voice actors ad-libbing their lines, even when their characters' mouths aren't even moving.
I know, darling, I feel smarter just by looking at you.
The animation is especially heinous. The backgrounds all have paint blobs on them, and a lot of the times the characters seem to be pasted right onto the screen. On top of that, the frame rate is so sluggish, and the characters move in such a jerky fashion, that it makes the film absolutely degrading to watch. Having just come off of Feliday, which was well animated and well written, you'd think that all German filmmakers would be experts when it came to animation. Well, not everybody. Michael Schoeman directed this movie, and let me tell you, the guy is no Don Bluth or Osamu Tezuka. I IMDb'd this guy, and his page shows that he's only directed 2 other productions. A TV miniseries called 100 Years of Automobiles, and Millionaire Dogs, another lame-brained animated comedy which actually features the voice of German punk queen herself, Nina Hagen. But I'll get to that movie some other time. Anyway, back to this movie, where we see the Spanish King Ferdinand scolding Leonardo da Vinci for not getting his flying machine ready.
No. If you say she flies, then she flies.
Sorry, I'm afraid she's not quite ready.
Not ready? Not ready? Look, I'm ready. He's ready. You're ready.
Jesus, can this movie not pick sound effects? I never knew yanking on a person's beard could make them sound like George the Valiant. So Columbus reveals his plan to the King of Spain.
Ain't that a kick in the head? I'll give you a kick in the head.
Yikes, the King of Spain is an asshole. I wonder if he's related to Rick Sanchez. However, the Queen Isabella appears, and she supports Columbus on his journey to find the new land. So she offers him one of her ship-shaped earrings for good luck.
Maybe this will help.
It will. Oh, Your Majesty, what a lovely symbolic... Ah! Oh,
What the hell was that? Way to catch the earring with your shoulder, buddy. So as Columbus spends the night getting it off with the Queen, Pico decides to go exploring.
Whoa! Hey, these are pretty cool. I look stupid.
Ever look at yourself in a mirror before, buddy?
Glad nobody can see me making a fool of myself. Whoa! Oh, this is stupid. This is fun. This is stupid. This is stupid fun.
My God, he just never shuts his trap, does he? Again and again, nothing but random ad-libbing. It's like playing Call of Duty online with somebody who throws a fit every time he dies. It's like, turn off your microphone, dude. So as Pico mucks around on a chandelier, he meets a Tinkerbell ripoff, voiced by Irene Cara.
Where are you going? What?
I'm called Marilyn, Princess of the Kingdom of Moonsprites.
A princess?
I was in the land of blue twilight, where the nectar is always sweet. And the moon was as bright as the sun, and the night as glorious as the day.
And the vampires sparkled magnificently in the sunlight.
And then, from a land far away, an insect army of fear and dread.
At last, Princess, the secret of your magic light will be mine. With this power, I shall become invincible.
Yes! I am invincible.
I tried to explain that our magic light will not work in the hands of evildoers, but he refused to listen and brought me here to this crystal prison.
You know, the more I watch this movie, the more I start to realize that this whole thing was originally going to be about Christopher Columbus, but then the creators decided, you know what? This plot isn't good enough. Let's throw in a magic fairy and a swarm of evil locusts to make it more fun for the kids. What a magic voyage that would be, yeah?
Oh, you know what? I saw the magic voyage of Brad Garrett.
Suddenly, the evil locust swarm shows up and Marilyn is kidnapped again. But Pico vows that he will find Marilyn and save her. The next day, it's time for Columbus to sail off. Pico tries to get to the ships in time, but he ends up falling into a sewer. You know, I never knew they had sewers in the 1400s. He then runs into 3 rats who want to eat him, but Pico persuades them that there's food on Columbus's ship. And so the Nina, Penta, and Santa Maria finally set sail out of the harbor, carrying many men, food, supplies, and 3 guys. Okay, wait a minute. You're telling me that Columbus is going on a month-long voyage to other ends of the earth, and he only brought 3 shipmates with him?
You didn't say nothing about a sailor. Off the edge! Off the edge! We didn't find no food! Neither!
And you didn't bring any food? Congratulations, Columbus. See to it that your crewmates haven't died of starvation by the time you've reached Guanahani. Oh, and don't bother asking about the crewmates on the Nina and the Penta, because the movie ignores them completely. Their only role is to act as background decoration, and that's it. So you might as well enjoy your stay on board the Santa Maria, alongside a captain, voiced by Tiger from American Tail, 3 bumbling shipmates, no food, and a ship wheel that floats in midair. Alright, you're not even trying, are you? I can take the bad dubbing and bad frame rate, but this draws the line. This proves that you don't know how to animate movies. You have brought shame to us Germans with your nonsense. The Führer would not be pleased with you. He would be pissed. Scheisse! Oh, who am I kidding? So the movie has glitches. So what? I mean, it's not like I think it's the worst thing wrong with this movie. I'm not the game dude after all.
There's no phone, no lights, no motor car, not a single luxury.
Hello?
Yeah, hardcore kid. I have a wheel problem with you.
Who is this? RJ Bansma, is that you?
No, you income shit. It's the game dude.
Oh, hey! I thought I'd never hear from you after I featured you in that YouTube list.
Yeah, well, you're a real ass hippopotamus ranting on me. Why don't you rant on some other people like AVGN or Angry Joe?
Let me think. How about now?
You sack of rhinoceros bump.
See you on Busy Street, buddy.
Don't hang up on me. Don't hang up on me.
Now we've come to the point where the movie really spirals out of control. Columbus has a nightmare which features a bunch of weird colors, and the King Ferdinand as the devil. Oh, and apparently in dreams, characters can talk telepathically, since Dom DeLuise is constantly yapping throughout the scene when his character's lips don't even move once. Wait a minute, did he just pull that telescope out of his crotch? Hey Jeremy, you know that feeling you always get in your wishbone? That's your telescope extending. After that, we cut to Pico listening in on the crew members, who are starting to doubt Columbus and are planning to have a mutiny. Pico then goes back to warn Columbus, but gets caught by the 3 rats, resulting in quite possibly the worst chase scene ever! Pico tells Columbus about his crew's plans, so Columbus decides the only thing to do is liven them up.
Down the course of history, on this you must agree, the bravest men were always those who sailed across the sea. Oh, the life of the sea is the life of me. No love is a land that we love is the land in the fight. What other life was to be?
And I have to admit, this song actually isn't that bad. It's not great, but what really ruins it is the constant amount of filler effects being used for the dream sequences mixed in. Is there really any point?
Sailors big and strong.
These filler effects are so awesome, we're gonna use every last goddamn one of them. But that night, it's Pico's turn to have a dream. This time, he imagines himself with Marilyn, going into outer space and then ending up in the Garden of Eden. What the smeg is going on here?
What kind of a dream is this? She's going away. This isn't a dream, this is a nightmare. Where's Marilyn? Marilyn, come back!
I I'm sure she'll hear me if I keep talking telepathically. In the awake world, it seems that the crew has finally reached land, but instead, all they find is a ghost ship filled with skeletons. In a heartbeat, the rats make a run for the rowboat while the rest of the crew, which now has a fourth crew member, don't ask me why, I don't know, have a mutiny on the ship and try to hang Columbus. But just when it seems like it's the end, Columbus finally sees land. But before they can reach the beach, they're suddenly attacked by the swarm that kidnapped Marilyn. So the Santa Maria crashes into the beach, and since the Nina and Pinta aren't around to give a shit, Pico and Columbus are left to fend for themselves. Pico then meets a beaver named Bob.
I'm Pico the woodworm, I think.
A woodworm? No fooling. Say, pal, you don't look so hard.
Ugh. He sounds like some weird combination of Patrick Star and Barney the Dinosaur. And what the smeg is a beaver doing living in the tropics anyway? Don't they usually live in dams upriver in North America? Oh yeah, I forgot. This movie was made in Germany. Silly me. So they finally reach the temple where Marilyn and the treasure are located. So Pico and Columbus must race into the gates into the temple and retrieve Marilyn and the gold. Folks, I have been wanting to do this for a very long time. On your mark, get set, go! There goes Columbus and Pico into the temple. Now they're in the room of the tall honeycomb, where they'll have to make their way to the top to get the gold. They'll have to go against the evil swarm at the top. Let's go, Columbus. Get to the top of that hive. It sure is slippery. Don't fall down.
You gotta get that swarm.
I'm coming, Marilyn!
Yes, now you've reached the top. Now you have to figure out how to get through that swarm. Just make sure you don't lose any fingers. Come on, Bob the Beaver. Eat your way through that honeycomb and save Columbus from the swarm lord. Yes, Columbus, you've got the gold. Now squash all 80 million of those bugs with it and get out of there before the badly animated temple collapses. Aw, too bad. You didn't win the trip to India. But hey, you discovered America. See you next time on another great legend of the Magic Voyage. Bye-bye. So Marilyn is found lifeless on a floating flower, and it seems like a sad end. But thankfully, the shockingly fast sun rises and Marilyn is revived. So Pico and Marilyn are back together, Columbus gets the gold, and the movie ends with Columbus and the rest of the crew making their way back to Spain.
We not only discovered the new world, but you were right. The world, she's around. And I couldn't have done it without you.
That's true, Columbus, but we did it together.
Just think, Pico. Because of you and me, one day there's going to be a big city right here. And there's going to be a lot of people, tall buildings. Maybe they're going to name something after us. Who knows? Columbus Circle sounds good to me.
Ha ha ha, foreshadowing for the wind. This movie is retarded! While the film does have a lot of heart, and the Swarm Lord does make a frightening villain, it's not enough to save it in the end. The animation is horrible, the dubbing sucks, the characters are annoying, the worst being of course Pico, and it's so historically inaccurate and so badly put together that it makes it seem virtually unfinished. Characters keep disappearing, reappearing, plot lines come out of nowhere, and I could honestly name about 80 other things wrong with this movie. Feliday, it is not.
I got it.
Sure, Christopher Columbus may have been a bad man who robbed and enslaved people for his own well-being, but hey, he wasn't an idiot. Here, they just turn him into a bumbling nut job in a lame movie made by animation Nazis, trying to make him look even more indecent. Well, as they say in Germany, harter Kern Kopfschmerz. You know, as bad as this movie is, let's just be happy there wasn't a sequel. I mean, could you imagine if there were? Hey, I've got a real kick-ass idea for a sequel. How about Columbus and Pico team up with Bill and Ted? Huh? They all ride to different time periods on board the flying TARDIS. Then suddenly, they all end up in present-day West Milford, where they all have to stop the evil Joe Don Baker from taking over the world, all while riding shotgun inside a big pink Cadillac. I've got myself a Cadillac, but I can't afford the gasoline.
Why do you use Thomas clips in your videos? Why do you say Smeg all the time? What's Smeg anyway? What's your name? Who's your daddy? Is he rich? Is he rich like me? Who wrote the Book of Love? Where is Waldo? What can you get a Wookiee for Christmas when he already owns a comb? What's up with the fish time?